We are back again for some cheap, cheerful Switch games. Last week I showed off 20 games under $10, but 20 just wasn't enough to contain all the little gems I wanted. So here are 20 more Switch games under $10. Just to make it clear, the games mentioned here today at full price are between $5 and $10. You'll find no sale prices here. That's up to James and his weekly bargains videos. If you want cheaper than $5, check out our episode a few weeks ago. Without further ado, 20 more Switch games under $10. If you're looking for a cheap fighter, then Pocket Rumble may be the one to go for. This one was trying to ape the fighting games presented on the Neo Geo Pocket, if anybody remembers that. A very solid fighter with surprising depth. It also packs a massive challenge in single player mode, so one for fans of arcade brutality. Shame the online is pretty dead these days though, but still, $9.99 is a pretty grounded price. Kero Blaster is from the mind of one of the fathers of indie game development, made by the same dude who made Cave Story, so you know you're getting some quality here. Visually it may be somewhat unappealing, going for an almost Atari look to it, but put that aside and you've got yourself a great game. $9.99 is a great price. Xenoraid is a cheap modern shooter that's nicely made. It's not the most exhilarating or one that's going to have you on the edge of your seat, but it is fun and has an interesting switching mechanic where you can change your ship on the fly, each with their own health bars. For $7.99, you can't really go wrong. The letter V 6 times is just a wonderful platformer. The mechanics are simple as can be, but every possibility is squeezed out of them to provide a roller coaster ride of challenge. Great hypnotic visuals mixed with one of the best soundtracks ever. No joke, it's one of the best soundtracks ever. This is a must-own indie game. The only reason I haven't bought it for the $9.99 price tag on the Switch is because I'm waiting for a physical version. Where is it, guys? Vasara Collection contains both Vasara 1 and 2, both hardcore arcade shooters thought lost to time. Put together in a nice package alongside a remixed version for multiplayer, you've got yourself a decent package for the $9.99 price tag. That's really good value in comparison to other examples you find on the Switch. They're not my favorite shooters, I'm more of a Gunbird fan myself, but they are right up there in terms of challenge and style. The reception to Subsurface Circular was almost overwhelmingly positive. It's a super short game, a text adventure almost, but there's a lot to love about it. If you want a really interesting sci-fi story, then look no further. Sure, it's only about 2 hours long, but think of the other great stories you've experienced in movies and such. At $5.99, that's a pretty great price for such a polished narrative. And even better, the sequel is the same price too. Quarantine Circular is its own self-contained story in a similar style and is equally as good. The original Steamworld Dig has been around the block a bit, but that doesn't make it any less fun because of it. This is a rather free-roaming digging exploration game as you mine the ground below. It's not quite as focused or as accomplished as its sequel, but there's a quaintness to this one that still makes it worth taking a look at. $9.99 is a decent price for this bite-sized indie classic. Are you enjoying this list so far? Then hit that subscribe button and the bell to keep up to date with everything we do. Every weekend we have a nice little bargain series James makes, and every Monday I detail all the physical Switch games releasing every week. Perfect for a collector. Subscribe. Streets of Red is a game designed to be played over and over again. It's a multiplayer horror beat-em-up that ticks a lot of boxes for fans of the genre. There's surprising depth to the attacks here, lots of nostalgia factor, nice retro visuals. I've heard nothing but good things about this release. It even has Jim Sterling in it, and for $9.99, you can't say no to Jim. Shadowbug presents an interesting game on the Switch. This is a platformer that uses motion controls. It's one of the rare examples of using the pointer controls on the Joy-Cons. It doesn't always quite work as it constantly needs to be readjusted, but it's still a fun experience, and for $8.99 I think it's worth the risk. I reviewed this back in the day and I enjoyed it. There's also a physical version via First Press Games if you want to check that one out. Shu is a really nice platformer. I reviewed it back in the day when it was one of my early videos for the SwitchWatch channel. There's a nice warmth and polish to this indie title that many of the like failed to achieve. It provides a steady challenge in its very distinctive art style. If you like the modern Rayman games, then this will gel with you as you attempt to outrun the end of the world with a small cast of characters with different abilities. For $9.99, it is a nice package. Skyforce Anniversary and Reloaded are two separate games in the Skyforce series. Reloaded is considered to be the best of the two. For a shooter, it has a surprising amount of content on offer and will keep you coming back for more with this progression system. Anniversary is a bit more straightforward and is a remake of the 10-year-old original. Definitely get Reloaded as a priority, but both are very decent for $9.99. As far as arcade races go, Riptide GP Renegade hits the sweet spot. A decently priced $9.99 for a surprising amount of content. If you're looking for that Hydra Thunder type experience, then look no further. You'll be riding the waves, racing opponents over and over due to the addictive upgrade system on offer. Plus, it has 4-player multiplayer on the same Switch and 8 players online, although I don't know how that's still holding up today. Minit is a really short game played in really short bursts. This 2-hour experience has you playing your adventure 60 seconds at a time, hence the name, Minit. Featuring a striking black and white art style, it's hard to do this game justice in a succinct paragraph, but as its publisher is Devolver Digital, you know you're going to get some quality here. Minit is more than worth a minute of your time if you want a bite-sized top-down Zelda-style game with a big twist. $9.99. Masters of Anima is a fun little adventure strategy game that plays very much like an indie Pikmin. You control different troops in a strategy puzzle-like experience, control up to 100 guardians of different varieties, each with their own unique purpose, and you'll find yourself having a very solid time for just $9.99. Danmaku Unlimited is a fine shooter, intense bullet hell action from a vertical perspective. This is essential for any shmup fan. It's in the mid-range of prices for this genre, but definitely worth it. A fine modern example of a shmup, and it takes full advantage of the switcher screen if rotated. $9.99 is a great price. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon was a surprise little package on the Switch, considered a companion game to its bigger sister, Ritual of the Night. To many people, this ode to the NES Castlevania games, especially the third one, was considered to be the better game of the two. Challenging yet well-executed gameplay made this one retro fans definitely need to pick up for the $9.99 price tag. As the cheapest Star Wars game currently available on the Switch, Kyle Katarn's classic adventure, Star Wars Jedi Knights II Jedi Outcast. I know that people have a lot of nostalgia for this one. It's a first and third person action shooter that includes some well-loved lightsaber mechanics that hadn't been seen in a game before. Sadly, there's no multiplayer in this one, and perhaps it's not aged the best of the bunch in this list, but still a nice single-player campaign for $9.99. It'll keep you occupied if you're a fan of Star Wars. Just as we ended last week's episode with a HAL Laboratory game, we're ending this week's episode with one too. Boxboy and Boxgirl is the 4th installment in the bite-sized puzzle platformer series. The previous ones were released on the 3DS, but this is the first on the Switch and the first to contain 2-player multiplayer modes. The concept is simple. Form a chain of blocks to overcome the puzzles. Like most HAL games, this oozes charm, and this is one of the best experiences you can get for the price. $9.99 is a steal for quality, puzzle design, and polish. And there we have it, guys. Did we miss any? Would you prefer another one of under $10, or shall we move it up a little to $15? Let me know your thoughts. Check out our other content if you like Switch collecting. Join my physical series every Monday. If you like cheap Switch games, check out James's weekly bargains video. Many thanks to our YouTube members and executive producers Dane Wilkinson, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumor, Gannicus, Alolan Jojo, Alexander Kato, Santa Tartaruga, and God of Resin. Thank you ever so much for your support. It means the world to us. Plus you, yes, you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, you are a legend. The longer you watch, the more YouTube likes us. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care.